Hi friends, I'm back today with a quick journal, paper bag journal, junk journal type of thing. I went with this one kind of totally on the whim. I decided on the size of the bag just by what I want to put on the front, so I don't have measurements. So if you have a particular something you want to put on the front, then you can measure to that. I have particular an artist trading coin that I decorated and I wanted it in the front, and that's where I went to put it in front, fold it up the way I wanted it, and then decided the size from that, what looked good. So here, this bottom flap here, I'm just doing the edges. I did the center, but gluing it for like a flap or whatever to add something, but it doesn't need it. I discovered that. I did glue the ends of the paper bag that I cut off, and went through all that and then folded them up, and that was my signature, each one of those. So I was able to put paper and cardstock or whatever in those folds when I made the little journal. So here I am just kind of gluing it together. I'm pushing on the edges as I go to with the back of my glue stick, and then I use my roller as well just to push it down, make it stick. There's something that the bottom of the bag is a little bulky, so I gotta figure out another way to do a journal to kind of get, maybe take some of that out or something, but this is like a on a whim type of journal that I've decided to make. So here I'm just kind of gluing down the flap of the open part of the bag. It's just where it's the edge of the bag it's folded in, so that it didn't all open up really wide. Here I'm making my covers. I'm actually just cutting out some recycled cardboard for my covers. I decided I wanted them to be a hard covers, somewhat hard, and then I just kind of figure out my size from there. And I didn't measure anything, so I don't know the measurements. Here I am now deciding how I'm going to make the hinges or the back to attach everything. So the ends that I cut off of my bag, I'm just cutting those in half, and then I fold those down the center, and that will be like the hinge or what holds my signatures to each other. So that's what I do, and I just fold them down the center, and I glue each side to a different signature, and the cover as well. This was not a planned item, so I just, on the whim, I made a mistake here folding the flaps over, but I realized that right after, and I ended up cutting them off. But this was just like, okay, I need this, I'm crafting on a whim, I'm not really planning it, I'm going as I go, and I'm kind of learning as I go. And I thought I'd record it, so then if anything kind of rubbed off on you guys that you thought you can use the idea or some of the idea, I thought that'd be great. So then I discovered, no, that closing it or folding it over does not work. Although I'll have to tell you too, I was crafting and having a head cold, and not really, my brain wasn't working on full. So that was one of the things too with this particular craft. So here I'm just making that little hinge type thing using the leftover paper bags for the cover. And you can see that I'm just totally wonky crafting today because, like I said, it was just a head cold day and things weren't really working that great. But I got it going, I got it figured out, and I thought I'd share anyway. So here is how I'm going to attach it to my covers, front and back. The book, I found that with the signatures it was a little tight after I filled it, but after everything gets kind of taken out of it, used, because this is a part of the giveaway that I was doing, and then you just have it with a little less stuff in it, I think it'd be fine. But I was just kind of working it, trying to do something a little special for that particular giveaway. So here's my flaps, and I could put ephemera inside and all that kind of stuff, and that's what I was trying to go for, is have a little something to send off. And now I'm using my coloring pages for the front and back cover. And see, like I said, I'm not measuring anything, I'm just kind of using my book here, my little mini journal, as my guide. And discovering as I'm going along what I want to do. So I put the cover on and I'm like, wait a minute, I need to close this thing. So I grabbed some gift ribbon, which is kind of a plastic material, so I'm like, I really took a chance on this one, but it seemed to work, and put it on there. I had a couple of times where I had to refix it and redo it because I'm totally crafting without a brain today, like I said, with this particular one. But it still ended up working at the end. So I put my choice coloring pages on there, and that was just a neat cover. I thought I didn't put too many coloring things inside, but I did glue some of the flap straps, I guess not strips, put some coloring pages on those, and then just added some coloring pages to the book. Here I'm trying to tie it up and I'm like, this looks wonky. Then I grabbed my buttons I remembered I had from, they're snaps from New Frog, and I thought, well, I haven't tried these. It took me a little while to figure them out because there's like a little post in the center and I wasn't understanding how it went together. Eventually I did figure it out. I did change up the way I did this here. At first I closed it up on the outside of the book. I ended up changing the way I did my button a little bit, but is playing with it. I probably should have played with this a little bit before I did this, but hey, you only learn if you try, right? So here I'm kind of getting the system on how the button works. After all that, I had to fix the ribbon, and I ended up changing the ribbon, but still trying to figure out how to do this. Now, if I left it like this, there's no way with the ephemera and whatnot I put in there that this would have fit. So I luckily did think about making a longer ribbon, which was a really good thing. But I was kind of just trying to figure out this button at this point. And I realized that when I did squeeze the button on, I didn't squeeze it hard enough, so the little stump or the little centerpiece was sticking out and it wouldn't close. So then when I discovered that, I did it properly the next time here when I replaced this little ribbon, and then it worked fine. So it's just discovering that. Then I realized this is empty and it's really tight. See how it is like that right now, and I'm like, I got to get another ribbon in there, replace that. So here's what I'm doing, pulling this back, cutting this back, and making another putting another ribbon in there, a little leftover that I cut off at the end earlier, and double gluing that with my glue stick and my tacky glue, and there I have a loop. So then that loop goes around the front. It still seems tight with everything in there a little bit, but hey, I think it's gonna work. And now I figured out how to use this thing. It just took me a couple of tries and it does work really good, and it actually snaps pretty easy. So this is what I picked up at New Frog. I could probably leave the link below, yeah, my first time trying it finally. So here is an example of the like one of the things I wanted to put in front. but the artist trading coins. Anyways, and now I'm trying to think, okay, do I give it plain? What do I do? So I want to fill it up a bit and play with it a little bit. So what I did was, I think I inked up my edges as I'm thinking of what to do, and then I just fill it up with a few papers, like the coloring strips and pages and squares and stuff like that, and some stamped out images, and a couple of stickers, and a couple of cards that I've made. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and yeah, talk to you all soon. Bye bye.